Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Let's get to work. Let's see, I have two equations here, and I have to cancel out one. Because if you'll remember, when we solve systems of equations, what we need to do is we need to find an ordered pair that, when we substitute into both equations, makes both equations true. In order to do that, the first thing I want to do is cancel out one of the variables so I can solve a single variable equation. Now, up until now, it's been simple. You've either had a coefficient that was the same or opposite for a variable, or you've had to multiply one equation because one of the variables had a coefficient that was a multiple of the second. In this case, we don't have that. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to have to multiply both. And we're going to be looking for common multiples. So in the first set of equations, I'm going to look at the x, and I want to cancel out the x. And if you see, I have coefficients of 5 and 3, and so my least common multiple is going to be 15. So I have to get both of these coefficients to be either 15 or negative 15. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this first equation by 3 to get 15. I have to distribute the 3, so 3 times 5x is 15x. And 3 times 2y is 6y. And 3 times negative 3 would be negative 9. Now, I'm going to multiply the second one. And I'm going to multiply, instead of multiplying it by 5, I'm going to multiply it by negative 5. So that the variable that I want to cancel out is going to have the opposite coefficient. And that way I can just add the equations instead of subtracting. So I'm going to multiply this by negative 5. Negative 5 times 3x would be negative 15x. And then negative 5 times 3y would be negative 15y. And that is going to be equal to negative 5 times 9, which is negative 45. And now all I have to do is add. Okay, so I'm going to add these two. And let's use a different color. Okay, so 15x plus negative 15x, that's going to cancel out. And then negative 15y plus 6y, well, that's going to give me negative 9y equals, when I add a negative 9 and a negative 45, that's going to give me negative 54. And so what do I want to do? I need to divide both sides by negative 9. Okay, this is going to cancel out and give me exactly what I want, which is my y value. And my y value is going to be negative 54 divided by negative 9, which is going to be a positive 6. So right here, I'm going to want to put my x value is still blank, but my y value is 6. I want to do that so that I don't forget or have to look back at my work. Okay, so now how am I going to get my x? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my original equations and I'm going to plug in y. So let's do it in the first one. So we have 5x plus 2y equals negative 3. I don't know my x, so it's going to remain 5x. Plus 2 times, well, I know y is 6. And that should equal negative 3. Okay, so 5x plus 2 times 6 is 12 should equal negative 3. Let's subtract 12 from both sides. And we're going to get that 5x should be equal to negative 15. And when I divide both sides by 5, I am going to get x equals negative 3 because negative divided by a positive is a negative. So now I have my ordered pair. And my ordered pair is negative 3, 6. Yay, finally, I'm done, right? Nope, not yet, because we have to check. Okay, and let's check in a different color. Okay, so how are we going to check? We're going to check by using the other equation, which in this case would be 3x plus 3y equals 9. And we're going to substitute in the values that we have for our ordered pair. So we know that 3, we know x is negative 3, plus 3 times y, which would be 3 times 6, should, if our answer is correct, be 9. So let's see, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9, plus 3 times 6 is 18, and that should give us a positive 9. Negative 9 plus 18 is indeed positive 9, and so we know we are correct. Okay, so that's us canceling out the x. Now, the truth of the matter is that you can cancel out either one. So let's take a look at another example. And in this case, let's cancel out the y. Okay, so we have, you see we have a positive 2y and a negative 2y. Well, those signs are opposite, and if I want to cancel them out, I think I'm going to just multiply both of them by a positive number. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 5 because the least common multiple of 2 and 5 is 10, and that's the variable I want to cancel out, which is the y. And then I'm going to multiply the second equation by 2, right? Because then I'm going to get a 10 in each of these. So let's see what happens. So in my first equation, 5 times 3x would be 15x plus 5 times 2y would be 10y. And that's going to equal, let's see, it's a negative. And 5 times negative 26. Well, let's see, 5 times 6 is 30, carry the 3. 5 times 2 is 10, 11, 12, 13. So that would be 130, so negative 130. Okay, and now let's take a look at the second one. 2 times 4x would be 8x. Now, in this case, it's 2 times negative 5y, so that would be negative 10y. And then we have 2 times a negative 4, which would be negative 8. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Now, do you see I'm going to add, right? Because when I add positive 10x and negative 10x, I'm sorry, positive 10y and negative 10y, they cancel out. Okay, so 15x plus 8x is going to be 23x, and 23x should be equal to, okay, negative 138. Okay, and so I have to divide both sides by 23, and I'm going to use a calculator here, And I think that I'm going to get x equals negative 138 divided by 23 should be negative 6. Okay, so I have my x and my y, and my x now is negative 6. Okay, how am I going to find my y? Well, I'm going to pick one of these, and I think I'm going to pick the second one. And I'm going to do 4x minus 5y equals negative 4. Now, I know that my x is negative 6, so 4 times negative 6 minus 5y equals negative 4. Okay, so 4 times negative 6 is negative 24 minus 5y equals negative 4. And let's see, let's add 24 to both sides. And we get negative 5y equals 20. Does everyone see that? Because positive 24 and negative 4. Okay, I'm going to have to divide both sides by negative 5 to get y equals negative 4. Okay, and so my y is going to be negative 4. Now, how am I going to check? Well, let's check since we substituted in the second equation. Now let's check using the first equation. We have 3x plus 2y equals negative 26. All right, let's see. We have 3 times negative 6, right? I'm substituting in the values that I found, plus 2 times the y, which is negative 4, should equal negative 26, if I'm correct. Well, 3 times negative 6 is negative 18, plus 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, and that should be negative 26. And is that negative 26? 8 and 8 is 16. And that is indeed negative 26 equals negative 26. And so we are correct. And again, this is a long process and it can be intimidating. However, what you need to do is you just need to focus and step by step. Don't lose sight of the current step that you're working on by being overwhelmed by the whole thing. Okay? Everyone to this point knows how to do each step, and as long as you focus on step by step, you will be successful.